Hey everyone, Wanderbot here, and welcome to the Beginner's Guide, which is it's like a, I'm not gonna say exactly an exploration game. I actually don't know how to categorize this one. It's made by the people that made Stanley Parable, or at least made by the main guy from Stanley Parable. I actually don't know how many people worked on Stanley Parable. Anyway, so it's about an hour and a half long, and it's supposed to be like super non-traditional. I don't know. Make sure the audio is on. Nope, muting it for you guys. Haha! Controls, WSD. Yep, figured as much. Well, we don't have a narrator yet. We have a big old white screen. My cursor is gone, so I assume...
Oh. Thank you very much for playing the Beginner's Guide. My name is Davey Wreden. I wrote the Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011. We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda. Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made. It's a level for Counter-Strike. You can walk around here, by the way. And mostly it's just Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is. And that's exactly what we're going to do here.
I can't.
It's 2008. Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder.
I can't stop.
This was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveywreden@gmail.com. Okay, that's about it for introduction. Let's take a look at Coda's first proper game. As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
Well, that was a trial. I would love to play a first-person shooter where everybody's always looking up and stuff like that. I hope that was built into the game and not some kind of weird glitch with my computer, but you never know. We gonna go anywhere, or is it just gonna be white all the time? Oh. Oh, yeah, no, that's definitely me. Alright. Okay, we're back, and well, we're not staring at the ceiling anymore. That was actually on me. That was not the developer. Whoops. Warning. Whisper. Alright. Is there a sprint button? The answer is no.
Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda.
Yeah, go figure. Looks like kind of a really clunky version of, like, Halo or whatever. Well, I guess, like...
click to fire the gun.
Yeah, figured as much. Ooh. Do I actually get to shoot something here, or do we just go through this?
It kinda looks like this game was abandoned mid-development. For instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere. You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets. But ultimately we don't really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
Enemy force neutralized. Begin shooting.
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this room.
That is great. That is great. Alright. I did not expect this as a thing. I'm really curious how much of this is actually true. You know, are these Coda's games?
Apparently this space station has a labyrinth on it. Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it.
Thank you.
Okay, this is the part that's interesting. The game has this narrative about the whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Before we do, let's go into the options for a second. The music is really let's turn on closed captioning at the very least. Okay, and keyboard and mouse. Let's boost up the mouse sensitivity. What are we here? Acceleration amount. No. Okay, there we go.
Hey, you there, in the engine room. You could save us all. That beam is powering the whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam. It's so much to ask, but for all of our lives, would you do it? Could you give yourself?
And I assume there's not a whole lot of alternative here, given the situation of the game. So, tally ho! Well,
Let me pause here for a second. What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
okay. Oh. Well, oh hey, there's the labyrinth. Oh, I was actually on the right
The
path.
beam causes you to start floating. And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something human about it. Like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system. Or this floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
I could have completed the maze. Just giving me like 10 more seconds. Alright, well, we're in another maze. Oh, I can't move. Oh.
Yep, in this game you can only walk backwards.
Well, you know what? I'm mildly used to this already. I don't remember what game I was playing, but I only played it backwards for a while. Oh.
So it's a short and relatively minimalist experiment combining motion and narrative. It is less advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete. Coda's trying to give it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope.
It's kind of neat, actually. Let's see, but if the future is always behind her, how will she find the strength to confront it?
It's a short little thought, it says what it wants to say, and then it ends. Didn't need anything more than that. Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick. Okay, next one.
I'm not sure how much I need to commentate over these things. I might as well just let the developer do it. You're now entering... Oh, geez. There's, like, no wiggle room on this one. I mean, there's wiggle room, but there's not... Well, alright. I can still jump, though. That's good. Oh, no. Well.
And that's it. Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting. Oftentimes, Coda would put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games.
Nonsense in every direction.
I wish
Okay.
I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do?
I dig this minimalistic staircase. Wish there was more environmental detail, but I mean, what am I gonna do? Oh, I got it.
Once you've been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
Or I could do it in an incredibly slow pace and get there on my own. The way it was intended. I'm gonna do it. I'm actually really curious what happens if I do it this way, you know, effectively willful disobedience of the narrative, and see what happens. Either that or we're not going to get any closer. No, we are getting closer. Okay. It's just incredibly slow going. I thought for a second we were dealing with an infinite staircase here, but nope. We're just dealing with an incredibly slow staircase. Come on, work those legs. Coda doll thing, I don't even know. Let's see. Let's come up with a good name for the avatar we are currently playing as. I think I'm gonna go with, I don't know, Wanderbot? Yeah, I think that's good. Come on, Wanderbot, work those legs. Work them hard. God, you're slow. We need to work on your wandering. You need to wander harder. Oh, hey, I can still crouch at high speeds. Alright. Oh, I see. That's one of the bars. I thought I'd run across a visual glitch, but no. No, we're doing this the man's way. We are crawling. Oh, shoot. Do not hold to the right. That slows you to beyond a crawl. We will never make it at that rate. Alright, we've reached the building. We are within sight. I can make it. I'm just gonna crouch a bunch. That actually is gonna get really disorienting if I do that. So let's not do that. Let's just take it slow. We'll be there. I mean, Coda did make it so you can actually get there. It's just a matter of, well, you know, just pushing forward, doing your thing. Slowly but surely. We'll get there. By Tuesday. Did you bring your coat? Okay. I'd like to get over to the side just a little bit. Does it push me over? No, it doesn't. Okay. Am I going slower? I don't think I'm going slower. I don't think he's actually going to say anything to me for actually doing this. It's kind of a shame. I was really hoping, you know, after Stanley Parable, there would be a little bit of, like, that kind of thing, you know, element of choice. But no, it looks like this is a very linear narrative along the way here. Well, we're almost there. So, I've committed. It took 2 minutes. Could be worse. Man, this took forever. I wonder if the developer actually, like, put in a script to tally how many people just ignored his advice and didn't press enter. I don't know. I wonder if our speed will normalize once we go through the door. Probably not. Might have to press enter anyway if I ever want to make it anywhere inside what looks to be this apartment. Really hard to tell. Well, I mean, we crested the stairs. Let's go inside first. Let's see if we can trigger a dialogue box. This is painful, though. Come on, we're almost inside. We are definitely slowing down. The further we go, the slower we go. Oh, every time I slow myself down, There we go. Stand on X. Oh god. Game filled with chairs except for one is floating. Stand on X, staring at a bear for 3 hours. Live on a boat, taking orders from a captain. The captain is always wrong. Stranger appears.
That's warm and nice and filled with little ideas for games.
Must address and rally a group of eager reporters. Press reporters. You construct a
Coda
wall.
would often tell me that he didn't mind if people thought of him as cold or distant. He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that. It can be a very slow climb to get there.
You construct a wall. The wall is destroyed. You are given a medal. Sharks are trying to eat you. Simultaneously, you are trying to eat the sharks. I want to play that game. I guess... Oh, well, there it goes. I wanted to read all of those. Wait, is this the shark one? Please tell me it's the shark one. It's not the shark one. I liked that shark idea. It was glorious. Not sure where it's gonna go with it, but I liked
this is
it.
New for Coda. It's an actual puzzle. Go ahead and see if you can solve it.
Okay, do we have anything else around here? It's kind of like this weird side chamber in here. Okay. Puzzle. Puzzle. Okay. I mean, the obvious response is to go in here while the door closes. Oh, hey, there's a lever on the inside.
Don't forget that solution, because we're going to see this puzzle again soon. We're gonna see it a lot.
Coda is a simple dude. Let me guess, it brings us back through the way we came? No, it couldn't have, because we took a ramp up. Or stairs or something. I like the music in this area. It's kind of neat.
That seems to be it, right? You walk down a corridor, you solve the puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough. Alright, now I'm going to modify the game again, so that when you press enter, it'll remove all of the walls from this room.
Oh.
How about that? There was more to it than we had any way of knowing. I actually find it funny that this game comes after the Stairs game, since they essentially convey the opposite idea. So, in the Stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior, and then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world. Either way, I think that the point is the same, is that most of the time you don't get to know what you're missing, or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player. So if your role here is not to understand, then what is it?
To be? Too deep for me. Too deep for me. Alright, hey, we're back here again. You are now exiting. Thanks.
So, this, combined with the entering game from earlier, tells us that Coda believes his games are connected somehow. It could even be that the Stairs game and the puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game. There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in, some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them. And once we have, we can step back and start to understand what exactly that bigger picture is.
Well, so far I've won every puzzle. The Great and Lovely Descent. Oh, that's a pretty little cottage. Let me guess, it's tiny. Nope, it's man-sized. Let me guess, I can't get to it? Nah, probably can get to it too.
Let's talk about video game development for a second. Every video game runs on what's called an engine, which determines what the game can and cannot do. So in other words, the engine is a set of tools for game development. To make all of these games, Coda is using an engine called Source. Like all engines, Source has certain things that it does well, and it has certain things that it does poorly. One of the things that it does very well is boxy linear corridors. That's why so many of Coda's games are set in these large, flat, empty rooms, is just because he's working with what the engine does well.
Yep.
The tools available to the creator shape what kinds of creative work they're going to end up making. You might consider paying attention to the architecture in Coda's games, to notice how they seem to stem from an engine that's very good at producing linear, boxy corridors.
Also, yep. Man, I had friends that made custom source levels for surf and stuff like that. Okay, good. I can jump. I'm a little bit worried about what happens when I fall. Guess I probably shouldn't be worried, but at the same time, I would like to succeed nonetheless. This totally feels like a really rudimentary surf level. Okay, good. There's no sliding momentum or mechanics. I'm curious what would happen if I tried to like, leap down and skip a whole section of the level. Let's do that. Okay. Have I ever mentioned I'm incredibly afraid of heights, so this sort of thing makes my butthole clench like crazy? It is clenching! Oh god, I'm gonna miss. Whoop! There we go. See, skip everything. I'm not gonna... Oh, well. Oh. Okay, so there's no void, we just land at the bottom. Neat. Oh. Just like a shield around that thing. Alright, guess I'm just gonna live down here now. Yay! It really does feel like a really rudimentary surf level. Wow. That's a blast from the past. Now, is this going to force me through the endless queue? No. Well, this is just creepy. Oh. Goody. Oh, what? Alright, I thought I would... Oh, I'm like in a prison. Can I not... Okay, there's just an invisible wall here. Great.
This prison, funny enough, in Coda's original design, the doors stayed shut for a full hour before letting you go. If you don't mind, I think we're gonna skip that.
We've already proven that I'm patient.
I used to argue about a lot. You know, whether a game ought to actually be playable, whether it means anything if no one can get through it. And I would always defend that, you know, all this work goes into the game, why not make it playable and accessible? And so we just got into heated arguments over it, and there was one time that after one of these conversations, he went home, and a day or two later, he sent me a zip file entitled Playable Games that was full of hundreds of individual games, each of which was just an empty box that you walked around in and nothing else. Believe me, I played every single one of those just to find out if there was like a gag hidden somewhere. There wasn't.
I'm incredibly chilled out right now, which I actually kind of appreciate. That said, currently my impressions are this game is not worth $8, but I mean, who cares, whatever. It's an interesting experience nonetheless, and I might as well go through it.
Again, with the exact same solution as the last time.
I might as well go through it so you guys don't have to.
There's still no clear indication of what makes this puzzle so special that Coda is going to return to it over and over. But I promise I'll share with you my interpretation very shortly.
I almost kind of wish that there was like a no commentary version. Huh. Yeah. You know, that would probably make this a wildly different experience. Probably really crappy and you wouldn't like it that much, but still. You there, did you come from up above?
Here, Coda begins using a kind of dialogue system that he fashioned out of the engine's chat capabilities. Use the 1, 2, 3 buttons on your keyboard to respond.
Yes, let's see. So you there, did you come from up above? What was up there? Yes, there was a world stamped with whiteness. That's the world above. You've been there. Now this is important. Did you have to get through a puzzle with 2 doors and switches? See, so I can say, yes, I did that. Literally the last thing I did before coming here. No, I don't remember having to go through any puzzle, or I'd prefer not to tell you. After all, we've only just met. What? But you don't understand. We are trapped here. That puzzle is our only escape. We need to get through it. So, you think you want to get through, but trust me, you don't. Let me describe for you... Let me tell you all about what is over there. Alright, I'll tell you how to solve it. I'm gonna be a dick. You think you want to get through, but trust me, you don't. Oh no, but I do. We do. We need to get there. Do you understand? It's the most important thing in the world. We have to escape this prison. There must be an ending. I promise you. There's nothing I want more. Well, alright. Hey, there's a little furnace. See, can I pop up here? Nope. I really wanted to pop up so I could look at the window. Looks like it's just generic skybox. Oh, they got like books here and they're kind of weird, creepy people. Alright, leaving now. See ya. Oh. Hello, how'd you get here? Was there a puzzle you had to get through? Oh. No, I've been right here this entire time. I suggest you go and see the puzzle sometime. It's not meant to be solved, but you can sit in the black space in the middle. What happens if I solve it? Not sure, but if I have any suspicion, what you find won't be worth what it takes to get there. And the dialogue went away before I could say anything about it. Alright, I wonder how much of that actually responded to what I had said earlier. You know, if I had convinced them as such.
And so we make one last descent down to the final floor of the level.
I don't know. Music gets a little loud compared to the dialogue, and unfortunately I have no way of controlling these things, which makes me kind of sad. Oh, well. Welcome to Apartment Hell.
Okay, I can't tell you quite why, but for some reason Coda fixates on this lamppost. It's going to appear at the end of every single one of his games from here on out. I'll tell you what I think. I think that up to this point, you know, he's been making really strange and abstract games with no clear purpose, and maybe you can only float around in that headspace for so long. Because now he wants something to hold on to. He wants a reference point. He wants the work to be leading to something. He wants a destination, which is what this lamppost is. It's a destination. We're going to see it in the work as well. His games are just going to become a lot more cohesive, a lot more fully developed, with more of a clear idea behind them. And as we go, that idea will get clearer and clearer and clearer.
Alright. I do actually kind of like the motif of the lonely light post. For whatever reason, it makes me think of Bloodborne, which is, I mean, kind of makes sense. Sort of. Alright, at this point, I'm going to pause the playthrough. We're about just shy of half an hour in, give or take, I don't know. But I figured might as well do the first impressions bit, seeing as I always do that. So, first and foremost, is this game worth buying? It is $10, and I would say, not really. If you're watching this playthrough, chances are you're going to see literally nothing extra when you play it, as compared to when I play it. The only difference will be whether or not I'm blathering there. Though, for the most part, we are listening to the dialogue of, you know, the developer. So it doesn't really matter that much. My personal impressions, I am nothing but an avatar with a couple of weird snarky quips and, well, some weird technical issues in the beginning, which were funny, admittedly. It did kind of flesh out that very small level, not being able to walk in certain directions, and also only be able to look up. But still, is the beginner's guide worth it? No, I'd say go play Stanley Parable. It's a much more fleshed out, much more interesting game. That said, beginner's guide does have kind of an interesting message to it. I'm going to keep playing through it, especially if people want me to do so, and if people don't care, then I don't know what I'm going to do. But honestly, I like it. It's an interesting experience, which I appreciate a lot. It's kind of interesting learning about, like, game development from the perspective of a recluse. But yeah, I wouldn't spend the money on it. I mean, the music is good. The visuals are, well, Hammer Tool or whatever it's called, the source engine level creator thing, and gameplay. There's not really any, but still, it's an interesting message, and I like it. I wouldn't recommend buying it, but I would recommend watching it. So if you guys want to stick around, feel free to do so, and I will continue playing this game. So with that, if you guys enjoyed this extremely sparse impressions video, apart from just kind of, following the set path, then, leave me a like. Helps more than you know. And if you want to see more Beginner's Guide or other impressions videos, hit subscribe, because I'm probably going to be finishing this game. It's only an hour and a half long. So I can get through it easy. It's probably only going to be like a 3-4 part video. But that's not bad either. Let's take a look at the chapter select. Oh, okay. I was kind of hoping it would show me how many chapters there would be. Oh well. Heck, we might be half done already. I don't know. Either way, though, I will see you guys on the next episode of The Beginner's Guide. And as always, thanks for watching.